So I was thinking, one of the hardest things in the world to do is to admit when a hater has a point. So what do I mean by that? I'm saying like criticism is everywhere, right? People always feels like everybody's always got something to say. Right or wrong, somebody's got something to say. But one of the difficult things is when someone says something to you and you like, man, I think you hating a little bit, or you just coming at me. You don't mean me no good or anything like that. But you got this criticism for me, you know. But what happens though when whatever it is this person is saying, whether they meant to mean or not, what they're saying to you actually is true. This is an area of opportunity for you. And so, like everything I'll ever say on here, I always like back it up with biblical principle because like I said before, it's how I live my life. So if you look at like Proverbs 15:31 through 33, it says, he whose ear listens to the life-giving reproof will dwell among the wise. He who neglects discipline despises himself, but he who listens to reproof acquires understanding. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor comes humility. Now, there's nothing in there that says that whoever is giving you this life-giving reproof has to like you, love you, mean well by whatever it is that they say to you. There's nothing here in here that says that you should only listen to reproof if it comes from a person who says it to you nicely or who means it a certain type of way. It doesn't even say that the instruction has to be delivered to you in a way that makes you feel good. In matter of fact, it says the opposite because it says honor comes, and before honor comes humility. So you have to be humble. You have to feel this what is being said. So for example, somebody comes up to you, and like I said, I heard a pastor that I really respect say this. He said, as long as I'm ministering to myself, I know I'm doing the right thing. So I'm literally talking to myself as much as I'm talking to anybody, right? Somebody comes up to you and say, boy, you getting a little chunky today. That shirt is ever expanding. How many X's is on that tag? Like, now that might come off as a crack and like somebody really like coming for you. And they might be. But do you need to lose weight? Would it be in your best interest to drop some pounds because you want to be healthier? You want to look nicer for your significant other. You want your clothes to fit better. You want to just feel better about yourself. So this was said this way, but is there some truth to that? Somebody say, boy, you blow so much money. Every time I look up, you buying something that don't even nothing. This is terrible. Now, this is none of their business, right? Whatever I spend my money on is not anybody else's business. Person more than likely don't mean well, unless it's like your parents or something. But more than likely, they don't mean well when they're saying this stuff to you. But do you blow a lot of money? Should you be saving more money than you're saving? Should you? Like, that's a real deal thing. Like, are you being wasteful? Do you have any money saved? Are you overspending on things that are not actually important? Now, this came from a hater, somebody who was not minding their own business, all of this stuff. But do they have a point? Then somebody might say, came out the house looking like that. I can't believe he came out the house looking like that. Now, it is not anybody's business how I look or how you look when you came out of the house, any of that. But somebody is saying this to you, and maybe it is time for you to say, I need to think a little bit more about my appearance. I am not coming out of the house looking like I am fearfully and wonderfully made at all. I come out here and whether I realize it or not, it's affecting my self-esteem. It's affecting my confidence. It's affecting the way I carry myself. It's affecting me. And this person who don't necessarily mean me any well is the one who called it out. So like, sometimes that happens. Like a situation like that happened to me. I was working at a call center, and anybody's ever worked at a call center, y'all already know it's got all the mess in it, right? All kinds, whatever kind of mess you about want to find, you work in a call center, you probably can find it. But the guy, he was sitting behind me. He was like a manager or something too, sitting behind me. So like, I grew up in the '90s. You could shave your head bald. So when I started losing hair, it didn't even really bother me that much because we was rocking bald heads in the '90s. Because Michael Jordan made it cool, so he was cool. I had the bald head and two hoop earrings, and I was that dude, right? But so this was, back in around not that far back, but we're talking about early 2000s. And I wasn't feeling good about myself, man. I was kind of down. I didn't even know really at that point in time that I was a little bit depressed. I don't know, but I just wasn't feeling great, right? So I had gone some days, man. I didn't shave my head, right? And I'm sitting there. And my man is looking at this little strip of hair that's still growing on the back of my head. And he just says, in front of everybody, man, your wife let you come out the house looking like that with your head like that. And I'm like, now I'm that guy. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I can go back and forth and talk about people with the best of them. Like it's a gift and a curse, right? And I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I said some things back to him. But the real deal of it was that something was going on with me. And I was out here like kind of projecting what was on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I had a wife, and like this, I'm out here, and this, I belong to her, she belonged to me, and I'm out here representing myself in this way, and this is not good. And it was a reflection of where I was. So, in a sense, honestly, when he said that to me, it woke me up, and I was like, dang. Now, I could have went in on him. You know what I'm saying? Because this is one of the things I really think that we kind of have to stay away from. It's called whataboutism. Every time somebody says something to me or to you, gives you any kind of feedback, first thing we say is, well, what about you? What about that da 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 on you? What about that da 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 da? What about this? We could do that, right? But at the end of the day, if I get my way when I come and I start calling out your shortcomings, then essentially we both stay broken, right? Because if there was validity to what you said about me, then I'll pull out something that's valid. So now we just, touche, I guess, right? But we both still in the situation that we're in. So, because the dude, he was in a midlife crisis. He was putting some kind of little juices and berries in his head. He was trying to get an S curl or something. I think it was just an R curl. He didn't get to the S. It wasn't where it was supposed to be, but he was trying, right? And I could have said that. And maybe I did. I can't remember if I did, but I could have said that, but it really wouldn't have addressed my issue. And I still would have walked away with that issue. So my thought is, when something like that happens to you, right? You want to ask yourself a question, right? You want to ask yourself, first of all, is this think about it for a second. Just listen to what they said. Hopefully you can do it before you even respond. But listen, think about it. Don't get caught up into the whataboutisms. Discern where it comes from. Is this thing that this person is saying to you, is this coming from a negative or a positive place? Now, it doesn't really matter based off of what is the best way for you to handle it, but it is good to understand who it is, who am I talking to? Who is this saying this to me? Now, be honest with yourself. Is this true? Do I need to go to the gym? Do I need to be more thoughtful with my money? Do I need to think about more of my appearance when I come out of the house? Is this something I need to think about? Because I actually can better myself if I was to do this, right? Be honest with yourself. And I think that's sometimes the hardest part for us, right? Then if you do elect that it's true, right? Then you can commit to trying to improve yourself in that area. Now, if you don't think it's true, then now you just dismiss this person. He talking out the side of his neck. She talking out the side of her neck. None of this stuff is true. This is not me, right? You could do that. But if it is true, then at that point you could say, okay, I am going to see if I can improve this, right? So now, if this thing didn't come from a place of love, going back to discerning where it comes from, one of the things is, if it didn't come from a place of love, you never need to go back and show that person that you fixed whatever they said was broken. A lot of times that's what we want to do, right? somebody called you fat your whole life. You lose weight, you want to go back and strut in front of them. Do we not actually realize though that you're literally, this person has power over you? Because the thing of it is because just improving yourself wasn't enough. You needed to show them. So now they have power. They have influence. They controlled you essentially. Yeah, you went and got better, but you needed that last bit of satisfaction to kind of strut in their face. And that really, honestly, if you said something to me and you meant it mean, even if you had a point, I would not give you the satisfaction of coming back to you and showing you like, look, ta-da, like, like I'm gonna show you my paper with all the correct answers. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna fix whatever it is if it was true. I'm gonna go on about my business. That's what I'm gonna do. But if this did come from a place of love, I don't want to be too proud to be able to return to that person that helped me and be like, man or ma'am, I really didn't like what you said to me. I really didn't. It didn't make me feel great. But you know what? You did have a point. That was something that I needed to work on. And I did. So I really appreciate that. Like, a lot of times people are not expecting you to ever come back to them after they give you some tough criticism or some tough love. But if you are mature enough and able to do that, man, it really does make quite the impact, right? It really does. It makes very much makes a impression, right? And I always, if I can, I try to do it. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I am not able always to do these things this way. But sometimes when thoughts come to me, that's when I want to come here, sit in front of my camera and kind of share something that I believe is positive and it is backed up by biblical principles. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you guys watching so much. Every comment that I got on the first video really was encouragement for me to continue to do it. We may not always agree, and that's okay. But it always be, everything I say will always be said in respect and love. So, like always, please like and subscribe to the channel. And always remember, subscribe to me, but follow God. God bless. Peace.